For 2 millennia, the Christian faith has been anchored to a physical destination. You walked through heavy wooden doors and sat inside massive stone cathedrals. The architecture reflects a specific doctrine, incarnational faith. This principle argues that physical bodies, tangible craftsmanship, and shared spaces are strictly required for spiritual practice. Then, in early 2020, those physical doors locked. A virus forced billions of people into total isolation, instantly severing access to these historical spaces. Cut off from their geographic anchors, people still needed connection. That intense isolation forced a sudden migration into unmapped digital territory. Long before the lockdowns, a small group of early adopters was already experimenting with digital sanctuaries. In 2016, Bishop DJ Soto started moving congregations out of physical buildings and into virtual reality. The entry fee to the sanctuary is hardware. A plastic headset and a pair of controllers replace the heavy oak doors. Inside, platforms like VR chat, traditional reverence collides with internet culture. Pastors are delivering Sunday morning sermons to a crowd of anonymous users disguised as anime characters, as giant robots, and even dragons. It raises a difficult question. How can a belief system built entirely around the physical body continue to exist when the body is left behind in a computer chair? Developers engineer a psychological illusion called presence. By placing your avatar node in a 3D layout, the headset tricks your brain into feeling physically near others. Spatial audio mimics real-world physics. Distance dictates the volume of a person's voice. This underlying code creates a landscape where geographic limits disappear. A user who is homebound or physically disabled can navigate a communal gathering as easily as any other attendee. The digital proxy also offers a psychological shield. For those dealing with severe social anxiety or past religious trauma, presenting as a highly customized avatar removes the fear of physical judgment. For these marginalized believers, the metaverse provides a safer community than a physical building often allows. But this frictionless environment invites fierce theological criticism. Historic dogma relies on specific, tangible rituals that cannot be translated into code. There are no clear answers for how to perform a baptism in a digital space, or whether a pixelated representation of bread can carry the spiritual weight of the actual Eucharist. There is also the threat of the isolation paradox. Critics argue that users might retreat into these pristine virtual sanctuaries, specifically to avoid the messy, difficult realities of maintaining real-world relationships. Navigating the friction of human bodies in the same physical room may be a requirement for spiritual growth, a friction that digital convenience removes. Public VR spaces are often hostile. Trolls and griefers frequently hunt down church events to cause maximum disruption and harass attendees. To maintain order, pastors are forced to act as digital bouncers. They utilize admin tools to kick bad actors off the server and deploy expanding safe bubbles to prevent unwanted virtual touching. The metaverse also introduces complex economic problems. Congregations must figure out how to handle their tithes using volatile cryptocurrencies while navigating a rush for digital real estate. The ultimate risk, however, is centralization. These virtual sanctuaries only exist on privately owned servers, governed by corporate terms of service. If a platform shuts down or bans a group, the church disappears. This new spiritual frontier is inextricably tied to Silicon Valley economics and algorithm-driven control. Physical megachurches are responding by adopting hybrid models, broadcasting physical sermons directly into active metaverse campuses to bridge the two realities. While the skepticism surrounding headsets is loud, history shows a clear pattern. The institution initially panicked over the printing press, too, before leveraging it to distribute ideas at scale. Over the next decade, developers will introduce widespread haptic feedback and augmented reality glasses, blurring the line between a digital handshake and physical touch. Religious leaders are increasingly treating the algorithm as a neutral tool, leveraging the software to reach a global demographic that would never enter a physical building. A server rack cannot replicate the warmth of a room full of human bodies. It cannot mimic the smell of ancient stone or the physical taste of bread on a Sunday morning. However, for the user who feels welcomed after years of isolation, the connection remains even after the headset is removed and the screen goes dark. The metaverse functions as a digital wing for the physical church, allowing the historic institution to scale beyond the constraints of geography. Ultimately, a sanctuary is defined as wherever people gather to connect, even if those people are made of pixels.